I'm angry about it. You know why? They're making the Republicans look ridiculous. First of all, I like Kevin McCarthy. Okay, why wasn't this done ahead of time? Why are we doing this in front of the public? We look like a bunch of fools, okay? And Lauren Boebert, you know, with all due respect, I mean, the woman barely won her race. You're holding out until Kevin falls. What is the alternative? What do you want? What is the option?
The president needs to tell Kevin McCarthy that, sir, you do not have the votes and it's time to withdraw.
Is it time for you to withdraw? And if not, why do you support a double standard? Last question.
Kevin McCarthy does not have 218 votes. Kevin McCarthy
and you
will not be
and you
speaker.
have 20.
Got him!
Well, it's the longest staring contest in history. My sister and I used to have these in the back seat of the car.
Mr. McCarthy doesn't have the votes today. He will not have the votes tomorrow, and he will not have the votes next week, next month, next year. And so one must wonder, Madam Clerk, is this an exercise in vanity for someone who has done the math, taken the counts?
Getting the same result over and over again. So the holdouts aren't getting what they want, and the 200 or so that are with Kevin McCarthy right now are staying.
Here's the solution. You want to compromise in a coalition and to get the people paid and get on with the business and set up the committees? How about this? 100 days to save America. And in that 100 days, Donald J. Trump will be voted tonight or tomorrow to be Speaker of the House. And the Republicans say we're going to do it for 100 days.
Trump.
Damn! What do you intend to do about Congressman Santos?
I try to stick by the Constitution. The voters elected him to serve. If there is a concern and he has to go through the ethics, we'll let him move through that. But right now, the voters have a voice in the decisions, not where people pick and choose based upon what somebody's press has. So he will continue to serve.
Are you going to take any action against him at this point? Are any of these allegations acceptable to you?
What are the charges against him?
Well, I mean,
is there a charge against them? You know, in America today, you're innocent until proven guilty. So just because somebody doesn't like the press you have, it's not me that can oversay what the voters say. The voters are the power. The voters made the decision, and he has a right to serve. If there is something that rises to the occasion that he did something wrong, then we'll deal with that at that time.
The Grump is coming to Sesame Street.
Grump, 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 Grump.
Who's Donald Grump?
Don't give me patience.
Where have you been? Donald Grump happens to have the most trash of any grouch in the world.
I'm really rich. I'll show you that in a second.
Yeah, he's loaded with trash.
His name is on every piece of trash in town.
Yeah.
Did you lose this election fair and square? Will you tell your supporters?
Because you'll never take back our country with weakness. You have to show strength, and you have to be strong.
Then January 6th happens, and next thing you know, I organized the whole thing along with Steve Bannon here. And I want to tell you something, if Steve Bannon and I had organized that, we would have won.
Granted, he's gotten older, and granted, he's lost a little memory. But nevertheless, that hasn't prevented him from being an excellent greeter.
Let me show you something. Let's just say there's a shark warning, and you've just taken a bath in a bucket full of fish guts.
You know, that's interesting that you asked that question. People come up to me, they actually want to work on it.
What you talking about, Lou?
Word of the raid came late this evening from the former president himself. He told this in a statement saying Mar-a-Lago was, quote, currently under siege, raided and occupied by a large group of FBI agents. He also said they even broke into my safe.
You'll remember, of course, that Trump was the first president in 40 years who refused to release his tax returns. Well, now the House Ways and Means Committee has tweeted to say that it expects to receive them immediately. So more bad news for Trump.
Trump Organization was fined $1.6 million after it was convicted on 17 counts of tax fraud. A company spokesperson says that former President Trump and the Trump Organization are the victims, though, and that prosecutors were on a politically motivated witch hunt.
A federal judge in Florida forcing the former president to pay nearly $1 million for a, quote, political lawsuit
brought against Hillary Clinton for, quote, revenge.
We found a handful of documents were filed in the wrong place. We immediately turned them over to the archives of the Justice Department. We're fully cooperating, looking forward to getting this resolved quickly. I think you're going to find there's nothing there. I have no regrets. I'm following what the lawyers have told me they want me to do. It's exactly what we're doing. There's no there there. Thank you. All right.
Not a drag queen in Brazil, guys. I was young and I had fun at a festival.
I have a great outfit with pink flamingo feathers if you'd like to borrow it.
I've milked a few cows, spent most of my time walking behind lines of cows. So if you want some ideas on repro and the women's health thing, I have some definite opinions. So other than that, I'm tickled pink to be here. And
it's kind of auspicious that today is Martin Luther King Jr. holiday, and his purpose was, and he spent 13 years advancing the civil rights of people based on certain characteristics, and this does the same thing.
This day, it is MLK Day. I would respectfully and forcefully disagree with comparing Martin Luther King and his goal of equal protection when it comes to racism and segregation, to compare that with what we're discussing today.
Well, this is a huge story. It's very serious.
Did you take any classified documents with you from the White House?
I did not.
President of the United States is the only one that can declassify documents, not the Vice President. It's ridiculous and it's shameful.
Handling of classified materials and the nation's secret is a very serious matter. Well, there'd be no reason to have classified documents, particularly if they were in an unprotected area. As a former Vice President of the United States, I can speak from personal experience about the attention that ought to be paid to those materials when you're in office.
Well, there were classified documents, and they were in, as you report, an unprotected area.
This case should never have been brought. Its inadequacy as a legal claim was evident from the start. No reasonable lawyer would have filed it.
Impotent judicial system.
It was not that the complaint and amended complaint were inadequate in any respect. They were inadequate in nearly every respect.
I mean, Republican judges, not just Republican judges, the Republican Party has become the party of cowards. And the judges that cowards appoint are also cowards and don't want to take up real issues that crazy leftists don't like. In my opinion, I mean, that's what we're seeing. Judges are scared.
Mr. Trump is a prolific and sophisticated litigant who is repeatedly using the courts to seek revenge on political adversaries. He is the mastermind of strategic abuse of the judicial process, and he cannot be seen as a litigant blindly following the advice of a lawyer. He knew full well the impact of his actions.